Now we have to distribute the 6 through the parentheses on the left. 6 times negative 5, 6n will give us negative 5n. 6 times negative 5, 6 will give us negative 5. And on the right, 6 times n is 6n. And 6 times negative 1/3 is negative 2. We've simply distributed the through the parentheses on each side. The inequality symbol remains unchanged. Now we have variable and constant on the left, variable and constant on the right. It's time to sort laundry. We'll add the opposite of negative 5 to both sides of this inequality. So we have negative 5n plus negative 5 plus 5. And on the right, 6n plus negative 2 plus 5. We have added the same thing to both sides of the inequality. Adding does not reverse the inequality symbol, so it remains unchanged. Combining terms, the negative 5 and 5 cancel, so that we have negative 5n on the left. On the right, we can combine the negative 2 and 5 to get 3. So we have negative 5n on the left and 6n plus 3 on the right. All we've done is combine terms. That does not reverse the inequality symbol, and so it remains unchanged. Now we remove the variable term from the right by adding its opposite. Let's add negative 6n to both sides of this inequality. We have negative 5n plus negative 6n, and on the right, 6n plus 3 plus negative 6n. We've added something to both sides of the inequality. That means the inequality symbol is unchanged. Now we'll combine terms. On the left, we get negative 11n. On the right, the 6n and negative 6n in effect cancel, and so we're left with 3. All we've done is combine terms. That does not reverse the inequality symbol. The only thing left is to remove the coefficient of n. So I'll recopy negative 11n and 3 and divide both sides by negative 11. So we have negative 11n over negative 11 and 3 over negative 11. We're dividing by a negative number. Dividing by a negative number is one of the two things that reverses an inequality symbol. And so the inequality symbol must reverse from less than to greater than. I'm going to star this step. This is the crucial step for reversing the inequality symbol. Now we do the canceling. Negative 11 and negative 11 will cancel, leaving us with n. 3 over negative 11 cannot be reduced, but remember that we like for the minus sign and a negative fraction to be written in the numerator. And so we write n on the left and negative 3/11 on the right. The inequality symbol is unchanged because all we've done is simplify. And so we've come up with n is greater than negative 3/11. Now we'll graph the negative 3/11 on the number line. Just pick a convenient place and call it negative 3/11. Notice that what I have picked is what you probably expected me to mark with an integer. But we have a great deal of freedom with the number line. If I need a point to indicate negative 3/11, I just pick something convenient and call that negative 3/11. But now I must be extra careful because I must be sure that the values I label to the right and to the left of this are spaced correctly. If I want to pick an integer that's just to the right, that is greater than negative 3/11, negative 3/11 is between negative 1 and 0, perhaps you would think I should put 0 here. But then if I put 0 here and negative 1 here, I've got unequal spacing on my number line. To avoid that, and to avoid any confusion, I'm simply going to label all the points on this as 11ths. So I've got negative 3/11 here, To the right of that would be negative 2/11. And to the right of that, negative 1/11. And to the right of that, 0/11. To the left, I have negative 4/11, negative 5/11, and negative 6/11. Notice that 0/11 could be reduced to just plain 0, and if you like, you can do that. I'm going to be lazy about it though and just leave them all as 11ths. So, my boundary number, negative 3/11, was circled. Since I do not have the equal part, I do not fill it in. And now I'll check to see which side is shaded. If I fill in negative 4/11 and place it in, I have negative 4/11 is greater than negative 3/11. That is not true, so I don't shade in negative 4/11. I don't shade in anything on its side. To the right, I have negative 2/11. Negative 2/11 is greater than negative 3/11. That is true, since negative 2 is greater than negative 3. And so I'll shade in the right-hand side of this inequality. So here's a graph that shows n is greater than negative 3/11. Let's do one more example before I turn you loose on some exercises. Our next example has simplifying that's necessary. Example 3 is 4 subtract the expression in parentheses 3 subtract 2y is less than or equal to 3 times in parentheses 4y subtract 5. Then after the parentheses, subtract 6y. The procedure for solving an equation is, first, to simplify both sides of the equation. So we begin by simplifying both sides of this inequality. On the left, we can change the subtract to add negative and put the understood 1 in place before the parentheses. And so we can write 4 add negative 1 times, in parentheses, 3 add negative 2y, close the parentheses. On the right, 3 times, in parentheses, 4y add negative 5, close the parentheses, add negative 6y. What about the inequality symbol? All we've done is simplify, and so the inequality symbol remains unchanged. Now we must distribute the negative 1 through the set of parentheses beside it, distribute 3 through the parentheses beside it, and we get 4 plus negative 3 plus positive 2y, 12y plus negative 15 plus negative 6y. Again, all we've done is simplify, and so the inequality symbol remains unchanged. Now we can combine terms. On the left, we can add 4 and negative 3. On the right, we can add 12y and negative 6y. And so this gives us 1 plus 2y, and on the right, 6y plus negative 15. All we've done is simplify. That means the inequality symbol remains unchanged. And so when we conclude all the simplifying that we can do on either side of the inequality, we have 1 plus 2y is less than or equal to 6y plus negative 15. Now it's time to sort laundry. We must remove the constant 1 from the left. We must remove the variable 6y from the right. Let's start by eliminating the constant 1 from the left by adding negative 1. We'll add negative 1 to both sides of the inequality. 1 plus 2y, add negative 1. 6y plus negative 15, add negative 1. All we've done is add the same number to both sides of the inequality. That means that the inequality symbol is unchanged.